Even when I talk to Western Europeans, they're like, wow, you live in Warsaw? That's great. And they're living in either in Paris or Vienna or Brussels or something like that. And they're like, we're scared there. I mean, even telling me.
Living for over 30 years in Poland, what's the biggest shift you witnessed happening here?
When I first came, I would say a lot of people you could see they didn't have any money. They were not that they were dressed poorly or something, but they were not happy, generally not happy. Yeah, not happy walking around, going to the shops. And now and over the years, you can see a lot of people have some money. Maybe not rich, but they have some money. They're making money. They're buying. You go to the mall, it's full, right? I don't know what they're buying there, but they're going to the mall, and all the malls are full in these outlet centers. So I would say they've got some money to buy new clothes. When I came, in '94, there was very little traffic, and almost the only cars on the road, I won't say only, but almost the only ones were company cars. So I think you had I don't know, probably Nokia must have had 1,000 cars. So everyone that was a sales guy at Nokia had a car, right? It was or Siemens or any of these other companies. So, sorry. So a lot of the cars on the road really were company cars. And, with big Siemens on the side or Nokia or Coca-Cola or something. And, you could see people were driving them with logos on the cars for their family business, for their family and their private life. So I think it was really like, hey, I need a company car. I can put my wife in there, put the kids in there. We'll use it on the weekends. So I would say you can see people over the years, now you don't see that many company cars on the road and rarely on the weekends. Yeah, it's more like they park that car because they have their own car. But I would say I would even say kind of the happiness, maybe because of wealth, but just kind of the happiness has really changed from being quite sad. And I think because of money and, there was no nice, not so many nice places to go, now, very hard to go to the movies on a Friday night, very hard to go kind of anywhere. So I think the change has really been in just I wouldn't say the dynamics, because they were all always entrepreneurial and, plenty of people running, but I would just say there's a little bit more happy now, let's say. Or a lot more. And, looking a little, even if they're not rich, if they were, let's say more from despair because nothing was happening and in '94, a lot was already happening, but I'm saying the general public to really wow, we can, oh, we got to catch up with Europe, which is 30 years ahead of us. No one says that now.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, so I would say it's really wow, we're way behind, and why are you even here, and how is this country ever going to make it? I heard not a lot of that, but I know it was there. To now, clearly we're at least as a group, we're the best, and the country is doing well. And if you look around the world, it's just a lot safer here.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about this because it's very important. Talk a lot about politics here.
Yeah. Always happy to talk politics. I'm not an expert, but always happy to give my views, as you know.
Because it is true that when people talk about Poland, they often mention the word safety, being safe and clean. And so what's your stance on that?
Well, when I first came, we'll go back 30 years ago.
Yeah.
When I first came to Poland, not only the Poles, but everyone was asking me, why are you there? We went to Warsaw once. It was horrible. I mean, this kind of comments. And again, business, because the CEE guys were either in Austria, in Vienna, or they were in Prague, or they were based in Budapest. No one was based in Warsaw, running the region. Now, jump 30 years ahead, they're like, wow, you're so smart. You moved to Warsaw. That's like a great place to live. And I mean, I'm saying the Western Europeans and Americans are telling me that from complete opposite. Now they're just like, yeah, you're in a great place. How did you even think to go there? I came up with some brilliant idea. I'm like, well, I was always here. Yeah. And so, but it's really just, in this kind of paradigm shift, it's really shifted, I think, from a business point of view, because it's the biggest market, just simply because it's it's so much bigger in Czech than in Hungary. Or Austria, but the expats, they didn't want to live in Warsaw because nowhere to go, nothing nice to see. Where are you going to tell your wife and kids you're coming to Warsaw or Prague? So I think it was the expats making the decisions, more personal message, more personally than business-wise. If it was business-wise, they would have all picked Warsaw. So I think now even when I talk to Western Europeans, they're like, wow, you live in Warsaw? That's great. And they're living either in Paris or Vienna or, Brussels or something like that. And they're like, we're scared there. I mean, even telling me, and a lot of the Germans too, they're like, yeah, Warsaw, we love coming here. We just wouldn't mind staying here. So it really has changed. And I think it's more a safety reason. Yeah.
Yeah, it plays a big role. I also feel 100% safe here than I do in my own
Right.
country. So
Yeah.
I can understand that. And it's becoming more and more popular. And now I'm afraid it's gonna swing to the to the other
The other
the other
too
side.
many that this will become too popular. to be-
Exactly.
yeah.
So I think we've got still a couple years to go.
Mm.
Okay. So, Greg, being or living here for more than 30 years, do you feel more Polish or more American?
Well, that's a good question. I would always say more American.
Okay.
People are like, wow, you're like 100% Polish now. I'd be like, not really. I think it's just home is home. Yeah. No matter, not saying I want to move back there or any great, there's some things I miss, of course, and I do like it there. But, I wouldn't say I feel Polish. I mean, I really, if I ever move from here, I will really miss it. I miss a lot of things here. Some of the people you meet that have lived here 5 years are like, oh yeah, we're really Polish, and they're in, and they're, even Preston Smith, one of our business partners, he's got his Polish passport. He's here. I don't know. I mean, I don't think, I think if I went back to the US, I'd fit in, I wouldn't be under any culture shock or anything like that. I think I'd fit right in there and, no problems there. But I think, there's a lot of things I like about Poland, a lot of things that probably I didn't like at the beginning that I do appreciate now. But I think I'm always going to be more American, I guess. Yeah.
What are these things that you didn't like and do you like now?
It was more business stuff because, in the US, you're just working all the time, right? You've got, no holidays or very little holidays. And it was always, you're spending a lot more time on it. And it seemed like when I first came to Poland, it was like every week there was some holiday, or every month or someone was going on a holiday. And it was, because we were business to business. So it was screwing up our business because the whole week everyone's gone, in the US. They're like, oh yeah, and we're off Monday, so we're gonna take Tuesday off as well. We'll come back late Wednesday, or we're off, the holiday is Thursday, but we'll have Friday off. So that I think that took me about 18 months to get used to. And then now I'm like, that's maybe one thing I wouldn't like in the US. Now it's just like constantly working. Yeah. And, but at the time when we first started, it was like, okay, one of the good things that everyone was on holiday is we wanted to be the best, and probably maybe we weren't the best, but we wanted to be the best. So I could just outwork everybody, because in the US, they weren't taking any holidays as well. But in Poland, I was like, okay, we got to beat this company, that company, this other company. What can we do? Well, at least 30 days a year they were on holiday. So I would just work through it and, and try to catch up with everybody else, let's say, with whatever it was.
Interesting.
And I think the first year I really, looking back, now I would say it doesn't bother me so much. We still complain about it, but I'd say the first year I really hated the weather. And I know, like, you hadn't heard that in an interview before, but I had also brought my warmest clothes from my winter clothes from Los Angeles. And, I thought, wow, we won't need anything. That was freezing in those clothes. Yeah. You'd be like, yeah, you can't even wear it outside in this when you're skiing, because you're just too hot here. I had to get real winter clothes. So I think I didn't get them the first winter. So yeah.
From Los Angeles to here.
Yeah. Yeah. So the winter clothes of LA, buy some new clothes if you're coming here for the winter.